I'm so excited because I'm finally ready to show off my completely custom Aliexpress guitar. You might remember me talking about this guitar a few months ago in this video. Let me just say that this guitar is all kinds of awesome. However, the builder made a bunch of mistakes. So we're going deep into this one. Strap in, because I'm going to take you through the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to start this video off with a bang. This is an all-new, all-original, shred-tastic song that I wrote and recorded with this guitar specifically for this video. It's called Speed of Light. Check it out! Is this guitar junk? No! You just watched me totally shred up a major storm on this guitar. If this was junk, how would that even be possible? So to all you haters out there that continually insist that guitars made in China are nothing but garbage, wrong! Take your politically fueled hate for all things made in China and get lost. Okay, let's go back to when I first placed the order for this guitar. Exactly what did I ask for? And then we can talk about what got screwed up. My thought process was this. If I was gonna order a guitar with all of my favorite and ideal features, what would it be? Easy. 24 frets, dinky body, 2 humbuckers, hardtail bridge. Well, gee, that sounds exactly like your Charvel DK24 there, Mr. Bald. Well, yeah, but I made some changes. No tone knob. I have no need for that. And the input jack is down here rather than on the back. Dude, why not just buy another Charvel DK24? Number one, this is way cheaper. A new Charvel DK24 runs about $1,000 these days. This cost me about $450. Plus, on the Charvel, or any production model for that matter, you are limited to the colors and options that they offer. I wanted a true custom guitar made exactly to my specifications. And I almost got that. Missed it by that much. For the color, I showed him this picture and I asked if he could match it. He said yes. The top would have to be a veneer. Okay. However, he did not have the burl maple top like you see on the guitar in the picture. He had a spalted maple top. Spalted maple top it was then. That's what I went with. I also gave him the same measurements for the neck that I've done on my previous orders, which is for a really thin, super shred style neck. And like I've done in the past, I also mailed him a pack of genuine Dunlop 6100 frets for him to install on the neck. I also sent him a whole bunch of pictures of my Charvel DK24 and I asked him to please match the shape and the dimensions of that body as closely as possible because, you know, my favorite body is the dinky, so I wanted this to be like a real dinky as far as shape, dimensions, measurements. Now, one different thing on the guitar is that I wanted a unique headstock, not a copy of another company. I wanted it to be reverse, I wanted it to be kind of unique, and something special for the logo as well. So I took a picture of a reverse Ibanez headstock and kind of like altered it a little bit. I extended that point, the tip at the end, made it a little bit longer and a little bit sharper. It still looks a little more Ibanez-ish than I intended, but I'm cool with it. Also, you can see that it has my name on the headstock. Not really sure if that's cool or just kind of stupid. Okay, what did he get wrong this time? There were several things. First of all, the color. Look at the picture again. I wanted it to look like that. Luckily, green's my favorite color, and I still think it looks super cool, so I'm not really bummed about it. All right, the next thing is the fretboard. It was supposed to be rosewood. You know, like in the picture that I showed him, I just thought a rosewood fretboard would look better with the darker color on the body, so it was supposed to be rosewood. After he finished the guitar, before he shipped it, he realized the mistake he made, and he sent me some pictures, and I was like, maple fretboard, and then he said, I'll make a new neck, you know, so it'll have the rosewood fretboard like it's supposed to. However, the problem was he had already installed the Dunlop frets that I had sent him. So if he was going to make another neck, a new neck, he wouldn't be able to use these frets. It was not like he could pull them off and put them on the new neck. You know, end up ruining the frets when you pull them off. So if he was going to make a new neck, he'd have to put on the frets that he has there in his factory, which are not as jumbo as these, and they wouldn't be the frets that I wanted. So I was like, you know what, just leave it with the neck that you've already made, with the maple neck. And plus, actually, now that I have it and I've got it in front of me and I've been looking at it, I think it looks totally fine with the maple fretboard. And really guys, maple fretboard is my favorite anyway. So I think what happened is because I sent him so many pictures of my Charvel DK24, you know, to match the dimensions and all that. And that one has a maple fretboard. And I think they were just going by the pictures, like, okay, he wants that, he wants it like that guitar, and that guitar has a maple fretboard, so they just ended up doing a maple fretboard. They even matched the placement of the dots. Like on the Charvel, they're like this. They're, you know, normally they'd put them in the middle, but they matched the placement of the dots, which tells me they were just going off the pictures. So I think that's what happened. Another funny thing related to the pictures that I sent. So again, you know, the Charvel has actual Seymour Duncan pickups in it. And the Seymour Duncans on the Charvel, you know, it's got the logo. It says Seymour Duncan on both pickups, right? So when I got this guitar, these are not the pickups that were in it. I've changed the pickups to the Donlis pickups that I use in a bunch of my guitars. Anyway, the original pickups, they were just the really, really cheapy ones that they always put in there. But they printed the Seymour Duncan logo on both pickups. Take a look at this picture. So I thought that was kind of funny. Maybe I'll end up putting those in a guitar down the line. Alright guys, now it's time to get serious. The most significant screw up is on the neck. I was very specific with him on the measurements for the neck. Everything. The measurement at the nut, the thickness, the width of the neck, everything. And when you get down here to the end of the neck, down by the 24th fret, it's supposed to be exactly 54 millimeters. That matches the width on my Warmoth necks, which is really comfortable for me to play, so that's why I use that measurement. Well, the screw up is that he actually made it too narrow. It's not 54 millimeters, it's actually 52.5 millimeters. As a result, the high E string, string number 1, was too close to the edge of the fretboard, and anytime I tried to play it, the string just kept slipping off the edge of the fretboard. So either I had to find a way to compensate for this, or this guitar was going to be unplayable. I figured my best shot was going to be to somehow bring the string in or up, bring all the strings a little bit closer together, and I really only needed to move them in just a hair, just a tiny bit. Okay, so the bridge has 6 individual saddles, 1 for each string, right? So what I did was I took it apart, I took the saddles off, I sanded on the inside edges of all the saddles because they're painted black. So I just sanded off that black paint in between on each side of the saddles, and by doing that, just sanding off that black paint, it brought all the strings just a tiny bit closer together, and by doing that, I got that string up far enough. Again, I only needed it to be a hair, and it was enough. So now I can play it, it's playable, and I don't have that issue. Whew! There were also a couple of issues on the headstock. The nut was horrible. Cheap plastic, it was cut all wrong, there were like gouges in it, it was glued on there horrible. The nut had to be replaced, so I took it off. I got a Tusk XL nut from eBay for like 12 bucks, so now the nut's perfect. Alright guys, and also on the headstock, that's where the truss rod adjustment is. It's under that little cover there, right? There's a little kind of gap in there, and the truss rod is right in there. You put the little Allen wrench in there to turn it if you need to adjust the truss rod, which I did. Okay, but here's the problem. You know, they have to cut like a little space, kind of like a little canal, so that you can fit the wrench in there. It wasn't long enough. I couldn't get the wrench in there. I could kind of get it in at an angle, but it's got to be straight so that it goes into the hole inside the truss rod. Well, the gap wasn't big enough, so I had to take my Dremel tool with the little spinning cutter on the end of it, and I had to cut into the end of the gap, basically to make the gap longer. I did kind of a triangular cut, you know, cutting this way and then this way, and pulled out a little bit of the wood. And after I did that, I was able to get the Allen wrench in there and adjust the truss rod no problem. And luckily, the part that I had to cut to extend it, it still is completely under the cover, so you can't even see it. But that was annoying. Also, the truss rod cover was crooked and it wasn't centered. I mean, they were really just did a lot of sloppy things on this build. So I plugged the holes with a little piece of toothpick and some glue, and then after that dried, I had to re-drill the holes, so now that it's straight, not crooked, and it's centered. The fret work, while being pretty good, was not perfect, so I did have to level the frets, crown them, and polish them, and now it's all good. I've got the action set low, the way I like it, and I don't have fret buzz, and I can shred up a storm, so that was well worth the effort. Also, for this particular guitar, I told him not to put any finish on the neck because he basically only has 2 options, high gloss or matte, but I wanted an oil finish, like tongue oil, so I asked him, can you do like an oil finish? And no, high gloss or matte, that's it. And I said, okay, so can you just do it with no finish? And he said, okay. So then after I got it and I did all the fretwork and whatever, then I finished it in tongue oil. So now it's smooth, feels great, it's fast, just the way I like it. Other than those things, guys, there are some minor finish flaws. It's not perfect. I mean, if you look really close, you can see some flaws in the finish. Not a big deal, but it's not perfect. All right, guys, bottom line, even though there were some pretty significant screw-ups on this guitar, I was able to fix everything and get this thing into prime shredding condition. Honestly, this thing is killer! It didn't start off that way, but after I fixed everything, this is one of my favorite guitars now. The neck is lightning fast, and with the Donlis pickups that I put in there, I can get my favorite 80s hard rock tone that I like, and it's just fantastic. What else can I say? It really is pretty much the perfect guitar for me. And even though it didn't turn out exactly as planned, it is still a completely custom guitar for less than $500. Yeah, 'cause it's made in China, custom made junk. Shut up. Now I know what some of you are saying. Yeah, but you had to fix all those issues and do all that work on it. You're right, I did, but I have no problem doing that. If you're buying a guitar for less than $500, it doesn't matter who you're buying it from or where you're buying it, and you're expecting it to be 100% perfect and not need a setup, not need a fret level or anything, that's pretty unrealistic. And not every guitar is gonna have the same issues. In fact, this one had more issues than all my previous Aliexpress guitars. That's just the way it is. They don't always need a fret level. Some do, some don't. I've had guitars that were less than $200 that didn't need a fret level. I've also seen guitars that were over $1,000 that did need a fret level. So my point is, guys, if you're not willing or capable or you don't know how to fix things on a guitar or do a setup or do all the things that I've talked about, then buying guitars from AliExpress is probably not for you. Now, in my AliExpress videos, there are always people that ask me, who is the seller? What's the name of the seller? Sorry guys, I will not be giving you the name of the seller. There were just too many mistakes. So there's no way that I can say, yeah, you should use that guy to have him make a guitar for you. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna use this particular seller again. However, I will give you a link for these fabulous Donlis pickups. $35 for the set. Stop wasting your money on name brand pickups. Okay guys, that's about it. I had a lot to say about this guitar. Thanks for sticking with me if you made it to the end. If you like videos like this about guitars, making guitars, playing guitars, all that good stuff, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment and let me know what you think about my new custom signature model guitar from AliExpress. Later guys.